Happy Thursday, everyone. Loose gadgies. Back again. It's Sunday, really.
Shh, don't tell anyone.
Shh. It's the secret. Today, Mark wants to speak about presents. Now, perhaps we did speak about it beforehand, and it did start to sound a bit of the old Scrooge and Bar Humbug. But I think we managed to refine the argument. So, Mark, presents, who we buy for, why we buy for them, commercialisation, etc., etc. It's kind of the gist of it, isn't it?
It sort of continues on a little bit because the other week we were talking about, when is it appropriate for these adverts and Christmas songs and blah blah to start, which created a little bit of a stir, didn't it?
They've started though, haven't they?
Yeah,
they've started.
Yeah, I mean, it was like it was Anita's birthday on Friday, which is the 17th, and Heart FM started their Christmas songs on the 16th of November, which will take us through to the 2nd of January. Just say that again. That is what? That is 6+ weeks of Shakin' Stevens and Mariah Carey to go on.
Come on, 31st of December, 2nd of January. Well, we just want to eke it out that bit, keep it festive, and people are still off then.
Yeah, because we know the 1st is bank holiday, and we're still doing a festive, and then they'll reset. It just amazingly they reset everything on the 2nd of January.
Yeah, and what they mean is everyone's still getting sloshed on the 1st, or recovering from getting sloshed.
Yeah,
over New Year's night.
And it just started me. It just started me thinking about I go back over the years, and that's my side of the family and Anita's side of the family, and that question about who do you buy for and where does it stop? As we by default, most of us that get to a certain age, our extended family becomes bigger and bigger, isn't it? I think about my dad now, and the amount of grandkids he's got, and blah blah blah. So where does it stop? Where do you, my dad's lucky enough to have a little bit of money, but not he's not Rockefeller. But where do you stop and how much do you give? It's like...
Yeah, well, we had this argument, which might be unpopular, that buying a gift for someone is also giving them an imposition, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can't buy and then not return. You can't, so anyone you get a gift for, whether it's the neighbour's kids and your nephew's friend's dog and whatever else, you're buying all these different things, and some of the people I've spoken to say, I've got about 26. I'm like, what? How big's your family? Oh, well, it's not that. It's that we've got the Secret Santa here. Then we've got the people I go to this class with, and she always gets me this little thing. And then so now you've got to get her this little thing. And then how much? Your question was, how much do you spend? You've got to try and predict how much they're going to spend on you, or what did they get us last year. There's a whole, and if there's a social element, but there's also like all of the shops have made you realise that you have to be fair. So if they spend 20, you've got to come and spend 20.
Yeah,
and rubbing our hands with it.
If you go back years and years, we didn't have the luxury of sort of the Amazons of the world, which we talked about in the last episode. So we probably know we could pick up a selection box for probably about a £5. But would you be happy getting a £5 Amazon voucher? It's like,
what can you get for a £5?
Exactly. So now then I get into I had a conversation with a family member recently, and I was like, what do you want? And the answer was money. And so there's not much thought goes into money, me having to give money. So now does it become just a money swapping exercise?
Yeah. I mean, if you all give the same amount, then what you've done is given the thought of a present, but you all end up with the same amount of money.
we picked a number out before, didn't we? And I said, right, I'm spending 300 quid on presents. Uh, they all get 300 quid of tat, and I get 300 quid of tat back. We're all down 300 quid each.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
All of the
if we did cash only, I give 300 quid away, I get 300 quid back. We're all smiling. But why
yeah.
did we do it?
If you look at it like that, if you look at all the socks and little
Yeah.
ornaments and odds and ends that you get, or vouchers, I've had an argument with vouchers aren't a present. Well, they are if they've been. Yeah, but if you look at it from a pure cash perspective, if Christmas was 100% balanced and fair, that everybody spent all the same, then essentially what you've ended up with is 300 quid's worth of stuff that you didn't buy, most of which you probably didn't want, or you weren't going to buy anyway. Well, you've got them socks, slippers, I've got your new dressing gown. You needed one. You needed a new dressing gown. I could have just bought that any time now, couldn't I?
Mm.
But
Yes,
if you're all
yeah.
exchanging exactly the same amount of cash each, then what you've ended up with is a box full of stuff.
Here's
It's equivalent to you spending 300 quid on a bunch of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Anita's interesting. Anita's sister came up with an idea. I think it was last year, or the year before, and she was like, "Why don't the family we have a secret Santa? So we all say, let's say it's 30 or 50 quid. You buy for one person in the family as a representative of the whole family. Therefore, your outgoing for the whole family is 50 quid." And I was like, that is something that really appeals to me. You know,
That could be fun
yeah,
as well, because then you
yeah,
go, ooh. Because Secret Santas aren't necessarily about buying something useful either, are they? It's like a fun thing. You can go, you don't know who it's from, you know who it's for, you don't know who yours has come from. It's just Secret Santa. We'll just all hi.
yeah.
I like the idea.
It's from the whole family. The flip side of that is my family are. I'll describe it as opting out this year. Where we're not doing it. My mum's away on holiday, and my dad's
Aye.
perspective was it's just becoming too much because this extended family is too big. So we're opting out. So there's no exchange of gifts in my side of the family at all. Now, and then I started thinking, right, what's wrong with a card which says "I love you" and "I hope you have a really nice time" at the festive period? Great. I don't need
Or-
socks.
Or a Christmas dinner with the family, where you're all sat around the
Yeah.
table having a laugh,
Yeah.
eating some food.
Well, that gives up another one. So I think we've discussed this before. Christmas lunch is Sunday lunch glorified x10. And how much money do we spend on it?
You've got to have 3 meats, not one.
Yeah.
And if it's your mum, you've got to have sprouts and then get on a plane where you can't open the window.
Yeah.
She commented on YouTube, "Love sprouts. I'm going to upset Simon and just tell him sprouts, sprouts, sprouts." And Christmas starts for me when I'm getting on the plane. I thought, "You've had sprouts." So I just replied and said, "You can't open a window on an airplane."
Yeah. I'm not hoping for any socks or cream Y-fronts or Lynx Africa this year.
Well, once you get into the sort of the dad ages, that's what you get, right? Christmas goes from being sort of exciting this and that to useful stuff and token things, and
I'm terrible at remembering as well. So, I see the relative a couple of weeks later and they go, "Did you like me present?" And I go, I'm saying to myself, I cannot remember what you got me.
nah.
And how do I get out of this now? And I was just
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was really nice, really useful.
I've
Whatever
known
it was.
I've known people, even me, the one time I've been for Christmas to me older brothers, my sister-in-law makes a list of who got what from who, so she can send thank you cards out. I'm like, right, well, you've already sent Christmas cards out, you've already sent presents out, got presents back, and now you're going to send out more cards to thank for the presents that you got. They're going to then send you cards for thanking you for the presents you sent. So, like, it's
The other thing as well, we're all at sort of financial different parts of our life, aren't we? You know, sometimes we're up, sometimes. Now, if you continue in, like, I don't know, we used an example of a single mother with two kids. How does she manage, the way things are out there at the moment, to manage expectation for those two young kids when you got all that commercial pressure going on?
Oh, and stuff that's just been drilled into their heads during
Yeah.
the adverts when they're watching their various shows, and you know that the advertisers are paying for premium space there. That during whatever popular show it is, and the kids are glued to the telly, and then they just show loads of shiny, colourful things. Go, oh, get one of these, and get the official such and such. And then, of course, they don't want to be the one left out in the schoolyard, right?
Yeah.
With the as I used to have the not quite Adidas trainers, the Adidas, where it's got
Diodora.
A Diodora, yeah, and it might have one extra stripe or one less, so it looks roughly like it, but not quite.
We had this discussion the other day, and I was like, I thought I was the dog's bollocks when I got a pair of Geordie jeans, from Shields, because I've got Geordie jeans, and
Aye.
we all knew that the quality was absolutely terrible, but I thought it was, because I couldn't afford the brands, we couldn't afford them. So I'm not a brand person really, but there's certain relatives and certain families, north, south, east, west, where they wouldn't be seen dead unless it's got a name on it.
Well, this is where we got it talking about Andy and his Lacoste polo shirts, right?
Yeah,
He loves his Lacoste polo shirts. Won't have anything else.
Well, that was his brand of choice, wasn't it? And but it's just like I would hate to think, I'm sure he's not that way, but if I had 70 quid and that's all I had left, I'm going to buy food, aren't I? I'm not going to buy a t-shirt.
I just can't conscience it that different if the thing is literally worth that amount of money, like, because it costs a bit to make and the quality of it is. So if it feels worth it, and say that extra 50 quid gets you another 2 years out of them trainers or whatever, right? That would be one thing, but when especially when you see some kid, I've spent 240 quid on these. Yeah, but you know that the technology up to about 120 quid doesn't get any better after that. The rest of it is just you wanting reputation for spending 240 quid on them.
Yeah.
You wanted to.
Like I was thinking about this, card. So I'll send the family members a card, and just to take a little bit of time out to think and put something in there. Like I remember special time back in 1974. That means I've spent some time thinking about what I'm putting in that card.
I mean, birthday cards and whatnot. I'm not a great sender of. I stopped sending Christmas cards ages ago. I'm not a great sender of birthday cards either, but except with Sarah, because we have this little birthday card competition where we each send something either daft, insulting, or filthy each year. I took to actually making my own and uploading. You know how you can put your own custom image on the Moonpig cards. I just started making my own, either drawing something or writing something ridiculous. That for me, I like it because it shows some thought, and it's like an in-joke then, right? But I'm not a great sender of cards. I mean, Mum loves a card. She's like, you don't have to get us anything, just get us a card. I think, well, if that, it genuinely puts a massive smile on her face, so that's what I make sure I do. That even if I can't afford out, I get her a card. 'Cause she loves it.
In terms of technology, let's go back. We would send postcards if we were on holiday, flipping heck. But now we're in this world of technology. I could easily send you a message. Have we got some sort of emotional sense on card versus a message?
Yeah, you attribute it to something permanent, right? Like you couldn't send someone an e-card for their birthday, could you?
Well, yeah,
Where they get the card via email.
so if have I upset a lot of people in my 56 years that I've never kept many of those cards. I threw them away.
Oh, I sometimes open the envelope, read it, and then drop it in the recycling bag. So I'm like, well, what do I do with it? Like, my mum leaves them on the mantelpiece for weeks, birthday cards and that, and she gets the string out at Christmas, hangs them on the wall, and does all that. Yeah, still does all that.
The little
blue
pegs.
tacks them to, yeah, oh yeah, the proper little Christmas pegs, yeah, and then blue tacks them to the door and has them all over the shop. And me, I'm like, oh, that was nice. I've kept a couple of the daft ones that Sarah sent because some of them are quality silly jokes. Right? Oh, I like that idea. So I've kept some. So some I do attach some. It's rare, mind. Attach sentimental value, but I had old love letters and cards from ex-girlfriends once, and I was moving house. And I wanted rid of this sort of drawer where I kept all my little knickknacks and personal things that I'd picked up over the years. And, the pebble from this beach where we first met and all that. I just started going, why do I need this? And then just started chucking stuff. And before I knew it, I'd bought a shredder. And I sat and I emptied the entire drawer.
Did you get the pebbles through there?
That way. It was one of them credit card ones,
Yeah.
so you can hide out through there. So it's just, I don't have any of that historic stuff, and I feel bad when someone turns up and the card's not on your shelf or a mantelpiece somewhere. Like, it went straight in the recycling.
Is there, think about birthdays versus Christmas. Is there an age where we should stop buying presents for? I think about like my son and my kids are sort of late 20s now. Should I be buying them birthday presents, or is there a certain age where it just should stop?
Well, I haven't had a birthday present in I don't know how long off my folks. Mostly because I can't decide what I need. I'm a person that I need a thing, right? Then the money gets set aside for it, and then I buy it. Or it may be that I want a specific one, so I want to go out and get it myself. And just asking them for cash feels weird. Can I have cash for my birthday? That feels weird. That's like, well, just give us some money. No. So I quite often either have already bought it, I'm planning to buy it, or I don't want to describe to them which one to get, and then they get the wrong one. I've got to take it back. I'd rather just, go get it myself, or I might send them the link for a thing, but it's rarely an important thing. So I'm very difficult to buy for, because either there isn't much that I need or want, because, if you see where I live, there's 99% of the things in here have a purpose. I'm not a knickknacks person. Knickknacks go in the bin. In this Bob Ross thing.
Who's Bob Ross?
Stu. Bob Ross, the guy that the
comedian
did the do you not remember the guy with the afro that used to do the painting of the mountains and the fluffy trees and the clouds and that, and he would have a really relaxing voice, and it would just be him with a canvas stand there painting with a massive paintbrush. You ever used to watch that?
No.
What? He's massively fit. You might if you watch it on YouTube, you might recognise him. But Stu took to sort of the day of or the day before the birthday, the Christmas, what have you, wander through Morrison's. And just so I've had Batman pens and things like this, and just little bits and pieces where he's just got, this is something he's talked about, and just buys lots of little knickknacks. And in some ways I'm like, I'd rather him not have the pressure of feeling he needs to do something with the small budget that he has, and just know that, the fact that we get on really well these days is kind of more important to me than anything else. Like, considering we didn't at one point in my life, so the fact that you've rocked up to go out for fish and chips with mum and dad for your birthday or whatever it is, right? I'm easily pleased, and now I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I might never open it, but because he gave us it, I feel like, well, I've got to keep it though. So it's on, and then it's Bob Ross, and I learned to paint like him. So, you know, the oil paintings I did a while back, I learned sort of his style of doing things, and I'm not a lot of the stuff I keep because what it means to someone else for me to keep it, rather than the value I place on it, if you know what I mean. Like, I can't hide that out just in case of, although I feel bad if I hide that out because of, I don't know. So Crimbo this year is an exceptionally tight budget. I have no idea when my next piece of work's coming in, so, and then of course I told you about Stu and his other half have just been landed with $2,500 on their first payment, and he's grafting all over Christmas, literally just picking up whatever hours he can get. So we've had that conversation saying, look, it's not going to be a grand Christmas, and they said, well, no, look, we haven't got the money either. I said, well, then maybe it's more important that we're all just round someone's house for some sausage rolls and that, play with the dog, spend some time. Surely that's what it was originally about. You might have somebody in the family that's good at making stuff or painting stuff, and you'd exchange things that you'd made to show some thought rather than the value, like the commercial value of it. It'd be the emotional value and
smell of tangerines.
Yeah, and just spending the time that the whole year is a blur, and then one day in the year everybody stops for a moment to look around at what there is and what they have, who they have. Just spends a day acknowledging that. Although for some it's about getting absolutely bladdered and not remembering any of it, which for me I think feels counter. But so there's a nice message on the end. It should all be about love and sugary things, right? And randomly buying a packet of nuts when you normally wouldn't eat them during the year.
That's a nice bit. Yeah.
You know, when you just randomly buy a packet of nuts and tangerines and leave them in a bowl?
Yeah. And can you remember we used to have the nuts with the raisins in? We used to eat the nuts out and leave the raisins in.
I did. And my brother always used to... I didn't know whether it was just because he was showing off how strong his hands were, but he always used to pick up the biggest sort of walnut and get like the nutcracker. Everybody's house had this metal nutcracker, right? It's always crack this and get the nuts out. So he used to... It's a long time since... We still get the tangerines though. And my mum still gets the poinsettia, you know, the big red plant to sit in the middle of the table there with the red leaves on it. And, she's doing all that.
Yeah.
So
that's it.
The thumbnail for this episode should be interesting.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. You know, is it Scrooge or is it Celebration?
Yeah, am I going to say Christmas should be about, or should I just say Christmas is shit?
Yeah.
Maybe let's go with that.
Do they know it's Christmas time at all?
Yeah, all of that. I might make it controversial. Might make it controversial and just put an asterisk partway through. Christmas is shh.
Yeah.
Something like that. Yes, so thoughts, feelings, comments, like buttons. If you liked what you heard. If you've got comments and questions and what you're thinking about this Christmas, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if this year isn't generally tough across the board for most, so it could be interesting to see what thoughts and feelings come out on this one, and it might be more shared than perhaps we realise. Subscribes and follows if you want to see more. Help us out. But until next Tuesday. Sunday. Tuesday. Take care.